So we're arriving at the Ritz-Carlton at Half Moon Bay for this Venture Summit, where we're going to discuss whether the Internet has reached its peak. This place is very foggy and it's mysterious. It feels like I'm in the middle of a murder mystery, and we're going to decide what Internet company is going to get killed and who did it, I guess. Creepy. So I'm here at the Venture event that Always On is having, the Venture Summit, and once again, lack of female, so there's one. Anyway, I always say there's one. Anyway, there's lots of things going on right now over here. For example, the state of tech IPO buyers and sellers. In the other room, there's a bunch of Internet analysts, and we're going to do one on whether the Internet is jumped the shark. Okay, we're here at the Venture Summit panel. There's all the eager people waiting for our answers about the Internet. Samir, how you doing?
Good,
and introduce yourself
here?
To the people of Boomtown.
Hi, I'm Samir Arora.
Okay, Samir, we're here to talk about if the Internet's jumped the shark. What do you think?
No, I think it's just starting.
To jump the shark? No, what?
No, I think what I'm noticing is that actually Silicon Valley is probably 2 years behind the rest of the country in terms of the change in business, and so that's kind of first time.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, I think when the country recovered from 9/11 and the last slowdown, bubble post and everything else, the recovery was faster in New York and the rest of the country. I think Silicon Valley took a longer time. So what feels like a slight slowdown, or I'm not sure what's happening in the rest of the country, Silicon Valley seems to be just really just getting going. So I wonder what impact that will have to the whole economy, given how much influence Silicon Valley has on the economy.
So where do you see valuations and everything in Silicon Valley right now? What do you see?
I think if I break it up into the stages of seed, the Series B level, as well as the mid-stage funds, I think the mid Series B onward seems to be rather inflated. I think there's still opportunities in seed and early companies. They are competitive, but at least those are good deals to get into. And I think late stage, there's a lot of money in the mid-markets, pre-IPOs, just because there was really not a lot of IPOs.
Worried about a recession for an IPO market?
No, I think there's some factors that might make the market slower. Hopefully with the current administration they can counter some of those. I think the economy actually is fairly strong. We have a couple of factors, as we all know, that have, I think between the spending in the war in Iraq and
the mortgage
crisis, we've got two things that the economy has to kind of swallow and get past.
So you're positive, Samir?
I'm positive. I think there will be a slowdown. I don't think it's a recession. Okay.
Samir, as usual, by the way, pocket square, handsome tie, you look great.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Phil Gurley, how you doing?
I'm doing
Good to
great.
see you.
Thank
Phil, you have a lot of really cool companies that you've been investing in, and we're talking about whether the Internet's jumped the shark. What is your initial reaction?
I mean, I think it's an important question to ask. I think that when I think about it from an investor standpoint, tactically, there are a number of factors that would suggest no. And
because?
I would point.
Shocking coming from a venture capitalist.
Look, it's not that kind of thing. But strategic, and if you still have strategic M&A going on, I'd say that's one of the key things.
The big companies, Google, Yahoo.
Buying companies at north of 10 times revenue. That's something that I would say makes a market still very interesting.
So you don't need the IPO market, which is sort of
I think the IPO market's open. It's just no one wants to go public. That's a whole different story. But if you look at, say, enterprise software, where Chuck Phillips has consolidated the whole thing, the leaders in the market traded 3 times revenues. Deals don't get done at attractive valuations. That would be something where I'd say, it's jumped the shark to a certain extent.
What anything you're worried about, or things that you're super positive about?
Well, I mean, I think one of the reasons people are asking the question if it's jumped the shark is because things are certainly frothy, bubbly, whatever you want to say. There's an enormous amount of speculation going on.
And there's a lot of money sloshing around, as usual.
Question about it.
So, what is the biggest hype thing from your perspective, and what's the most promising area? Could be the same thing.
I think there are some of those things that always overlap. Biggest hype. I mean, I think things like Facebook apps and what else? Ad networks. I mean, there's just there's hundreds of these things.
Right.
Some of them I think would be very successful, to your point, but there's also an enormous amount of speculation.
Right. Anything that you're really excited about? Any of your companies that are really, all of them?
Well, we've made two recent investments within the past 2 years in the video space, Voodoo and Move Networks.
Right. Move, excellent. Yeah, used by a lot of big
ABC's doing some incredible things.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the transformation for video is something in the next couple of years that's going to be the disruption's going to be pretty enormous.
Absolutely.
It's very unclear how all the pieces will play out.
Great.
But
Bill,
something's going to change.
as usual, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, we're here with Liz Beyer. Liz is a well-known ex-analyst, and now she works with companies to help them go public. Liz, jump the shark, internet, or promise? IPOs, happy people, Porsches everywhere.
Some of each. There will always be too many companies chasing the same opportunity with overly optimistic investors temporarily. But there will also continue to be huge opportunity, probably in the places that we're not looking at. Isn't that what makes the companies really big, is the ones that no one sees coming in?
What do you think is overhyped at this point?
What do I think is overhyped at this point? I think probably some of the foreign markets may be a little overhyped. I think there's a lot of noise about clean energy without a lot of business models yet, but we'll get there. The market's been sort of ugly, so there's less overhype today than there was 3 months ago.
Right, so what would you advise a company that's going to try to go public? What do you need?
One, you need some degree of certainty with your business model. You need to have a path to profitability. You do not have to be profitable right now.
Oh, great.
But you need to be
again.
Yeah, but you need to show people that you can get there. You need a management team that can deal with uncertainty and things going wrong, because things will go wrong. And you need to understand why you're going in the first place. It's not just about putting money in the bank. Is it also about getting publicity? Is it about reaching new customers? Why are you doing it? Because it's going to make your life more difficult, so be sure what you're jumping into.
Excellent. Liz, as usual, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. Introduce yourself to the people of Boomtown.
Hi, I'm Paul Martino, CEO of Aggregate Knowledge.
Okay, Paul, we got 1 minute. We want to talk about, we talked about just about sort of jumping the shark, the internet, doing that. Where do you stand on that issue?
Right now, we're definitely nearing a near-term top. The idea that it'd be over is not the case at all, though. It is a near-term top. There is too much money chasing too few good ideas. That means that there will be a shakeout over a short period of time. But it's actually in the shakeout, that's when you want to go start your company.
Interesting. So right now is the time to invest.
Right now, I think, is a bad time to invest. 3 years from now is going to be a great time to invest when there's a little bit of blood on the streets.
I see. Interesting. Blood. That's what we want. So what do you think is overhyped and underhyped? What area do you think is most promising, first of all?
I think the most promising area is figuring out how to monetize things that are happening in the social networking space. It doesn't mean you can figure it out. It's a very hard problem.
I call that the $15 billion question.
And Carrie, you're exactly right. If someone can figure that out, it is worth $15 billion. I'm not saying they can, but if someone can crack the nut of how to monetize social networking page views, which are massively growing in comparison to the rest of the internet, they're going to make a lot of money.
Okay, very briefly, what's the most overhyped thing?
The most overhyped thing might be Facebook. Because if they can't possibly figure out how to do that monetization, that $15 billion valuation will go down in history as one of the all-time crazy investments.
Excellent. Paul, as usual, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
This is a beautiful, beautiful setting here at the Half Moon Bay. It's the Ritz-Carlton at Half Moon Bay where this conference is being held. It's very foggy today and stormy.